Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. The major storm on the move and the post-holiday travel impact. And the new U.S. strikes against militant targets overseas. First, that intense storm roaring through the nation's midsection. Whiteout conditions, blizzard warnings, and winter weather alerts. Parts of two interstates, I-70 and I-80, closed for hours. In the Northeast, heavy fog blanketing major cities from Washington to New York to Boston. What this could mean is millions get ready to head home after the Christmas holiday and the delays in air travel. Faith Abube from the world's busiest airport in Atlanta and Rob Marciano with the forecast. The U.S. retaliatory strikes overseas, shooting down Houthi missiles and drones in the Red Sea and hitting militant targets inside Iraq after 3 Americans were hurt in an attack by an Iran-backed paramilitary group. A top aide to Benjamin Netanyahu visits the White House as the Israeli prime minister lays out his preconditions for peace. The latest peace plan from Egypt rejected by Hamas. What that could mean for the hostages as Israel intensifies its operations in Gaza. Britt Clennon reporting in Israel tonight. Ukraine destroys a Russian warship in Crimea, a dramatic blow to the Kremlin's Black Sea fleet. Former President Trump takes his presidential immunity claims to an appeals court, asking the judges to throw out the election interference case against him. Aaron Katersky standing by. The economy gets a boost from the holiday season at the mall and online. What this could mean for consumers as we head into the new year. The terrifying follow-home robbery caught on camera. Thieves following a family and targeting them near their front door. The heart-stopping rescue. First responders save a trucker trapped in his cab as it dangled from an overpass. Taylor Swift hits a new high, what she did that only Elvis has done before. And America Strong tonight, the volunteers carrying on the legacy of a 9/11 first responder.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us on this Tuesday night. I'm Whit Johnson in for David. We begin with the dangerous weather threats, a major storm battering the nation's heartland with snow, ice, and blizzard conditions as the Northeast braces for more dense fog ahead of this system, complicating holiday travel for millions. Near Denver today, that blizzard making for treacherous driving, shutting down a stretch of Interstate 70 to the Kansas border for hours. And whiteout conditions in Nebraska, causing a travel nightmare with a massive pileup and spinouts. Authorities forced to close Interstate 80, a major roadway in both directions. And hazardous and blinding fog stretching from the nation's capital to New York to Boston and more is on the way. All of this during what is shaping up to be a record-breaking holiday travel season. Airports once again jammed with passengers waiting to get to their destinations. And tonight, how sick calls may have contributed to long lines at one airport. ABC's senior meteorologist Rob Marciano standing by with the forecast in just a moment. But first, Faith Abube leads us off in Atlanta.
Tonight, a blizzard blowing across the heartland, snarling holiday travel for millions. Whiteout conditions near Denver this morning. A stretch of Interstate 70 shut down from the city limits to the Kansas state line for hours. On Christmas Day, multiple wrecks on Interstate 80 in Nebraska. Blinding conditions forcing authorities to shut the crucial artery down in both directions. The powerful system coating some areas in up to an inch of ice. In the Northeast, thick fog creating its own whiteout conditions from New York to Boston. And after 2.75 million travelers crammed TSA's checkpoints Friday, the airports are packed once again.
Here at the Atlanta airport, you can see the TSA screening line is wrapped around the atrium. It goes all the way over there. Some travelers telling me it's taking them about 2 hours from the time they walk through the doors to drop off their bags to getting through the security line.
When we met Jeremy James, he was already waiting in line more than an hour, hoping to get his family home to Dallas.
Are you concerned you're not going to make your flight at this point?
I have been chatting with Delta customer service to see what we can possibly make happen. Our flight takes off in exactly 35 minutes.
More than 5,000 flights delayed today so far.
And Whit, I talked to multiple travelers today who came here early, waited in those security lines for about a couple of hours, and still missed their flights. The TSA tells us that an unusual number of their employees did call out sick today, which contributed to the long lines. They're expecting the next busiest travel day this holiday season will be this Friday. Whit.
Just adding to the frustration. All right, Faith, thank you. Let's get right to senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. And Rob, this system now set to impact the Northeast.
It is, Whit. Well, it'll help mix out some of this fog, which obviously is a problem for travel, but going to bring heavy rain. Where they got a white Christmas in Denver, but downstream of Denver, it's a full-blown blizzard. We got 5 states that are under blizzard warnings now, 2 states, including Fargo, under ice storm warnings through tonight. The low itself is over Kansas City, but that rain reaches out well ahead of it across the Appalachians by tomorrow morning. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, even D.C. will see some heavy rain, and this will be pushing up into the Northeast, up by 95 through the day. And by tomorrow night, it's in New York City, New Haven, Connecticut, and eventually in through Boston. Heavy rain at times. It will clear somewhat, or at least dry out Thursday morning, but not really clear readily. It'll be quite dreary, but most of the snow, at least, should be relegated to the mountains. Whit?
All right, we will brace for that, Rob. Thank you. Now to the U.S. launching retaliatory strikes on key targets in Iraq on Christmas Day. President Biden giving the order after 3 U.S. service members were injured during a drone attack at an air base in northern Iraq. The U.S. blaming an Iran-backed militant group. And what we're learning tonight about the latest attack in the Red Sea. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien at the White House.
Tonight, new images from U.S. airstrikes on an Iran-affiliated militia after a Christmas Day attack on U.S. forces in Iraq that left 3 service members injured, one of them critically. Those retaliatory strikes coming just hours after the U.S. Erbil Air Base was hit with a self-detonating drone in northern Iraq. President Biden briefed on the attack immediately afterward, ordering the reprisal. Tonight, U.S. officials say those precision airstrikes likely killed a number of militants affiliated with the group Kataib Hezbollah, part of a network of Iran-backed groups in the region that have been targeting U.S. forces over Washington's support for Israel.
This is very prevalent amongst the Iranians. It's how they conduct business. And it's very messy because they're using forces that sometimes don't actually take direct orders, but ultimately it's to push back against the influence of the United States.
In a statement, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin saying he and President Biden will not hesitate to take necessary action to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests. There is no higher priority. About 3,500 U.S. troops remain in Iraq and Syria to prevent the resurgence of ISIS. And since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, the Pentagon estimates there have been roughly 100 attacks against U.S. personnel in the region. And in Tehran, protests this weekend after state media claimed an Israeli airstrike in Syria killed a top Iranian general directly responsible for arming proxy groups in the region. Tonight, Iranian officials vowing revenge.
Those tensions on the rise. Jay O'Brien back with us from the White House now. And Jay, you're also learning more about these attacks by the Houthis in the Red Sea. How is the U.S. responding?
Yeah, Whit, tonight, U.S. officials reporting what is at least the 16th attack in the Red Sea since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. In the last 24 hours, a U.S. warship, along with fighter jets, shooting down a dozen attack drones, as well as several missiles launched by Iran-backed Houthi militants in Yemen. No ships were damaged, and there are no reported injuries tonight. Whit?
Jay O'Brien with those late details. Thank you. Now to the Israel-Hamas war and a top aide to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visiting the White House. This as Israel says it's close to taking down Hamas in the north and expanding its operations in the south. And Netanyahu lays out his prerequisites for peace. Here's ABC's Britt Clennett in Israel again tonight.
Tonight, as Israel says they are close to dismantling Hamas battalions in northern Gaza, a top advisor to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Washington to discuss the conflict and return of the hostages. The IDF now expanding their fight in the south, conducting heavy bombardments. Rescuers searching for survivors after a strike in Han Yunis, southern Gaza's largest city. And the death toll continuing to soar after an Israeli airstrike hit Al-Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza Sunday, more than 100 killed. Images appearing to show Israeli soldiers rounding up detainees stripped to their underwear in Gaza City, including 2 small children and a disabled man. The soldiers directing them into the center of the soccer stadium. ABC News has not been able to verify the date of the video or what has happened to the detainees. And the IDF says they can't comment on the age of people, quote, turning in arms and stripping temporarily to show they have no other arms. On Monday, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu visited troops in northern Gaza, vowing the war continues until the end. An Egyptian proposal for a ceasefire rejected by Hamas. The families of the hostages disappointed. Yair Moses worries for his father Gadi, still held in Gaza.
What's your message for the decision makers in that building who are meeting now to discuss the direction of this war?
Do whatever you can to release them as soon as possible.
Which Prime Minister Netanyahu, in an op-ed, laid out what he called 3 prerequisites for peace, writing, Hamas must be destroyed, Gaza must be demilitarized, and Palestinian society must be de-radicalized. This, as Israel's army chief warns that the war will continue for many more months. Whit?
Britt Clannett for us tonight. Thank you. Also overseas, stunning images of a Ukrainian airstrike destroying a Russian warship. That explosion rocking a Black Sea port in Crimea, sending flames and plumes of smoke into the night sky. Ukrainian authorities say the ship was likely carrying ammunition and possibly drones. At least one person was killed in that attack. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny speaking out for the first time after disappearing for nearly 3 weeks. Navalny publishing a letter today detailing his 20-day transfer from a prison near Moscow to a new penal colony in the Arctic. The fierce Putin critic said that he was fine but exhausted. Back here in the U.S., former President Trump is taking his claims of immunity to a federal appeals court in Washington. Trump's attorneys want charges that he allegedly plotted to overturn the 2020 presidential election thrown out. Here's ABC's senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, former President Trump is pressing his case he's immune from prosecution for allegedly plotting to overturn the 2020 election. His lawyers writing in a filing with the federal appeals court in Washington, D.C., the types of conduct charged in the indictment from special counsel Jack Smith were official acts. They all reflect President Trump's efforts and duties squarely as chief executive of the United States to advocate for and defend the integrity of the federal election, in accord with his view that it was tainted by fraud and irregularity. A lower court rejected that argument, deciding earlier this month the presidency does not confer a lifelong get-out-of-jail-free pass. The federal appeals court will hear oral arguments early next month after the special counsel failed to convince the U.S. Supreme Court to fast-track the question of immunity, though it is likely to get there eventually. The Supreme Court is also poised to decide whether Trump is eligible to appear on the ballot in Colorado after the state Supreme Court disqualified him, finding he engaged in insurrection. The Colorado justices are now facing a surge in violent threats. The FBI is involved, and Denver police are now providing extra patrols where the justices live.
There are legal challenges to Trump's ballot eligibility based on the 14th Amendment in more than a dozen states. Whit, a decision from Maine is expected any day now. Whit?
Aaron Katursky, thank you. Next tonight, the growing crisis at the border. These images coming in of what officials say is a large caravan of migrants traveling toward the U.S.-Mexico border. They could arrive sometime early in the new year as border crossings have reached new record highs. This week, a top delegation of U.S. officials is heading to Mexico to discuss the crisis. Now to the new numbers and encouraging signs on the economy. Americans splurging on online gift purchases and new clothing despite the lingering bite of inflation. Retail sales rose more than 3% compared to the same period a year ago. What all of this could mean for consumers as we head into the new year. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, with the Christmas rush in the rear view, signs that despite inflation, consumers are spending. Retail sales up 3% from this time last year, but growth trailing the 2022 holiday season. MasterCard reporting online retail climbed 6.3%, apparel topping the categories for shoppers. The growth in sales, positive news for America's economy after the Federal Reserve battled to tame inflation over the last few years. Prices overall still up. A typical American household is now spending $200 more per month on household needs compared to 1 year ago. And with all the buying, consumers expected to return $148 billion worth of holiday merchandise.
Retailers are changing the fees for returns because, quite frankly, returns are getting very expensive.
Retailers now bracing for the influx, some adding fees for you to ship back your unwanted items. JCPenney with an $8 restocking fee, Macy's charging $9.99, and TJ Maxx $11.99. And as we head into the new year with wage gains, record job growth, and a stock market climbing back, many experts are no longer forecasting fears of a recession. The Fed has indicated that it could cut interest rates as soon as the spring, a relief heading into the new year for borrowers who are paying high rates on everything from mortgages to credit cards. Whit?
Some optimism. We will take it. Ariel, thank you. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Tuesday. Apple fights back against the import ban on the latest Apple Watch. The urgent manhunt after the brazen follow-home robbery caught on camera. And Taylor Swift enters an exclusive group, her latest achievement that's landed her in the record books. Next tonight, authorities in Southern California are searching for suspects after a terrifying follow-home robbery. Police say these images captured on a Ring doorbell camera show thieves robbing a family in their driveway just steps from their front door. And surveillance video shows the robbers following the victims earlier as they left the home and stopped at multiple locations. They got away with thousands of dollars worth of precious family heirlooms. A dramatic rescue in South Florida. Firefighters rescuing a truck driver whose tractor trailer almost went over the side of an overpass, leaving the cab dangling. You can see in this video. Crews first securing the vehicle before using a bucket ladder to bring the trucker to safety. He was able to walk to paramedics and taken to a local hospital for evaluation. When we come back, how this touchdown turned into nearly $500,000 for one lucky NFL fan. We'll explain. And what you may not know about Taylor Swift and what she now shares with Elvis. To the index now, Apple is appealing a federal ban on imports of the latest version of the Apple Watch. A medical monitoring technology company has claimed that Apple has infringed on its patents. Apple says it has redesigned the watches. Other versions of the Apple Watch are still available. The Biden administration has declined to step in to halt the ban as Apple's appeal makes its way through the courts. Taylor Swift is back at the top of the charts and about to break a record set by the King. Swift's 1989 Taylor's version hitting the top of the Billboard 200, marking the 67th week she has had a #1 album. Elvis is the only other solo artist with that many weeks at the top of the album charts. One more week and the record is all Taylor's by herself. An NFL fan parlayed a $5 bet into a massive payday. Travis Duffner correctly picked 14 touchdowns in Week 16, turning his $5 into nearly $500,000. He says he's placed similar bets before, but never won anything this big. The winning score was the 49ers' Christian McCaffrey's touchdown in the second quarter of their Christmas Day game against the Ravens. Quite a bet, but it paid off. When we come back, America Strong, the volunteers spreading holiday cheer in honor of a 9/11 first responder. Finally tonight, America Strong, the 9/11 first responder and the volunteers honoring his legacy.
Tonight, one community and fire department turning their pain into purpose. Mark Lee Sr. was a captain on Engine 10 in Jersey City. In 1985, taking over a toy drive for the community, hoping to make the holidays a little easier for families in need.
His thing was that no child should be left on Christmas morning without a Christmas present under the Christmas tree. That was his main thing. He wanted all the children to have Christmas presents.
Captain Lee was a 9/11 first responder. He died from a related illness in 2014. Nearly 4 decades after he took over the drive, his family and the Jersey City Fire Department carry on his legacy. Now with a new name, the Captain Mark Lee Sr. Christmas Fun Drive.
We had probably a couple hundred kids here, ran out of toys before the 12 o'clock deadline.
His son, Captain Mark Lee Jr., says since his father's passing, they've heard from some of the lives he touched.
I remember his wake. There was this individual online, wasn't in a suit or anything like that, and he came and he paid his respects to my dad, and he came up to me and he goes, "Are you Mark Lee Jr.?" And I said, "Yeah, it was my father." He goes, "Your dad's been giving me a Christmas for the last 10 years.
Hundreds of volunteers delivering gifts to local churches, public schools, the Boys and Girls Clubs. This year, more than 7,000 children received gifts.
These families have become our families.
Truly an incredible impact. Thanks so much for watching tonight. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. I'll see you on GMA in the morning. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.